6 years ago, what were you thinking when you're like, all right, we're going to create Pruitt Mechanical?
2009, yeah. I think it's just like everybody else, similar, right? We wanted a better life. We wanted something better. We were tired of the grind. We thought we could do it better.
How did you recruit and bring other people into the business under this like model? Because this is a very clever model.
Well, I was working right along with them, right? So I would find people that I knew and that I could trust. And at that point, really, I don't think I was really selling the company as a future place to work or as, it was just what I was doing, trying to do.
What would you say is the biggest challenge? Because you've got this model worked out, you got paid lead gen effectively, and all you had to do was do amazing work. And then you got the word of mouth from there. So you built a great growth engine. You were able to find pretty good employees. You were working alongside of them. You got that. But like, what was like the hardest part?
At some point I realized that we were going in a really great direction, but I wasn't able to really track it and understand it. I knew it, I could see it, and I knew that the dream, the goal, everything that I was working to was starting to come to, fruition, but I couldn't really put a finger on it and I couldn't properly track it and say, this is where, this is where we're at. This is where we're going. This is where we hope to go.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Superpro podcast. I'm Roland Lightberg, the co-founder of House Call Pro. Since 2013, we've been on a mission to champion the trades and champion our pros because the work you all do matters. Keep our homes safe, comfortable, and communities running. In this case, cool and comfortable. Through House Call Pro, I've had the privilege of supporting hundreds of thousands of pros just like you all, empowering you all to achieve more, stress less, and redefine success in the industry. I'm super excited today because we've got a special guest. I've been wanting to get him on the show for the last 6 years here. Joe Pruitt. He's the founder of Pruitt Mechanical Services. They're an HVAC, plumbing, electrical company based out of Bethel, Illinois. I think I said that right. Just outside of St. Louis. They're on track for $2 million in revenue this year with 12 employees, 6 service vehicles on the road. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
6 years ago, what were you thinking when you're like, all right, we're going to create Pruitt Mechanical? What was kind of going through your mind? I mean, I guess your founding date was much more before then. So you've been in business for even longer than that.
Yeah.
What was your founding story? 2009.
2009, yeah. I think it's just like everybody else, similar, right? We wanted a better life. We wanted something better. We were tired of the grind. We thought we could do it better. I was a service manager. I just kind of jumped right into to starting a business. Actually, I was an electrician by trade. I went to trade school for electrical technology. And I actually taught myself along the way HVAC and got my own licensing in that during the time, after trade school. So I was kind of starting to do side work like everybody else. I was doing my own thing on the side when I could for family and friends, making a little bit of money. And that's kind of where it started at. From some point, yeah, I was just done and I wanted to go do my own thing. I just had a son and we were just talking, I have a 16-year-old, you have a 16-month-old. So I really, at that time, my son was just born and I really wanted to, give him a better life than what I had. And I was like, well, let's just do this. And I think I was always business minded and always wanted to have a business or to do something like that. So I just kind of took the leap of faith, quit my job. I was working in St. Louis, quit my job. And the next week I started the company. It was rough. It was very rough. I was actually fortunate though, because initially I actually fell into a Sears contract. Sears was still around then. Some people maybe don't remember Sears. Yes. So I was installing appliances for them, right? And that worked out really well. I was able, at some point I figured out what I was going to do with it. I had some business cards made up, right? I would go to their home. I was getting paid from Sears to go to their home and install their appliance or whatever it is, gas appliance, toilet faucet, sink, whatever it was. And I would leave a business card. It didn't say it from Sears. It said from Pruitt Mechanical Services. And, I would do a good job. I would take care of them, make sure everything went great. And I said, hey, I'm local. If you ever need anything, feel free. Here's my card. Give me a call. Mm-hmm. So I literally laid the foundation of growing the company doing that. And I did a lot of Sears installs. And I would do 4 a day sometimes.
4 a day.
When you're starting a company and you say, I'm going to start this company and you don't even know what the hell or how you're going to do it, you still have to have revenue coming in because, we all know that that's like the number one failure of companies, right? Is there's no revenue coming in. So you have to go get another job somewhere else. And then you're back stuck in the cycle of working for someone else. So I was real fortunate in that, I do these jobs. I would just leave a card, if you need anything, give us a call. And
That's a perfect hack.
It was. And I represented myself as a much larger company, as a much larger outfit than what I really was. And so, that went on for a while. And then we continued to grow. At that point, I was HVAC and electrical only. So we ended up, Sears was kind of going out of business. So I ended up falling in with a Lowe's contract. So then I was installing appliances for Lowe's. So I was kind of doing this stuff as I was building Pruitt Mechanical. And
it's like paid lead gen.
It is because once again, you need customers. You need to get them. Most of the time you have to pay for them, right? You have to pay, SEO, customers cost money, but if you can get paid to go do the work and then also build your company, it's a great strategy to use. Now, I'll say that at a point we got out of that and that's coming soon too, but you can't do it forever, but it's a way that you can definitely scale and grow a business, a customer base because they know you, they trust you. You've been in their home, right? You've done good service. They have no worries about that. And then, they're going to tell their friends, right? That's how we do it. So, we beat up the Lowe's contract and we had 6 or 7 stores in this Illinois side of the market. We were installing every water heater, toilet, faucet, sink, appliance that got sold at Lowe's. We were able to really get a big customer base then. But it got to the point where, the other side of the business really started taking off. And I was like, okay, I had a few trucks on the road then. I'm like, well, I've got to do something here. I can keep doing this where I don't make as much money or, our phones are ringing like crazy now. So I ended up having to just drop that altogether, which was a great decision. I was like, I just, instead of, putting this on the truck every day, scheduling 4 jobs for, Lowe's, I'm just going to schedule those jobs for us, where the tickets were the return was much better, because I'll caution you,
And Joe,
yes.
Where are you finding these other technicians? You're growing, you're getting a big volume. How did you recruit and bring other people into the business under this model? Because this is a very clever model.
Well, I was working right along with them, right? So I would find people that I knew and that I could trust. And at that point, really, I don't think I was really selling the company as a future place to work or as, it was just what I was doing, trying to do. I don't think that came until probably 2020, 2019, where we had that mentality of, this is a place where you can, work, retire, we have benefits, we have everything that you would want. But, I was there. So I was able to maintain that quality control, so to speak, right? And I was able to train them one-on-one, which is, really the critical thing when you're trying to grow a company is people. And I struggle just like everyone else to this day in finding quality people that fit our culture, that really, exemplify what I need for a technician to be, or an installer to be, or a CSR to be.
What would you say is the biggest challenge? Because you've got this model worked out, you got paid lead gen effectively, and all you had to do was do amazing work. And then you got the word of mouth from there. So you built a great growth engine. You're able to find pretty good employees. You were working alongside of them. You got that. But what was the hardest part? Was it the transition in 2019? Was it what was the hardest part?
Yeah. I mean, I think, one year we did like a $500,000 a year jump. And that was in 2019 or 2020, I think. And that was from going, and that's, about the year I got with Housecall Pro as well too, right? I mean, at some point I realized that we were going in a really great direction, but I wasn't able to really track it and understand it. I knew it, I could see it, and I knew that the dream, the goal, everything that I was working to was starting to come to, fruition, but I couldn't really put a finger on it, and I couldn't properly track it and say, this is where we're at, this is where we're going, this is where we hope to go. I didn't really have all that established yet. So that was something that I was on a whim, just hoping and praying, right?
So walk me through, electrician by trade, you started adding extra things. Obviously, as an electrician, doing appliance came sort of naturally because you're following effectively directions and manuals, but you knew all the underlying stuff to do. Then you added HVAC, which is a natural extension. probably less complicated really than real electrician work, but
Yes.
probably a little more lifting of stuff.
HVAC is all electrical components, and then you add in the gas. That's what it is.
Yep. 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 And then so you did category expansion with kind of what you currently were doing. Um, Besides those lead sources and word of mouth, were you doing anything else? Or was that enough to sustain you to the point where, you were like, okay, hold on, this is now really taking off and I want to put something in place?
So
Was that it?
the craziest thing about it, and I have not done any investment in any type of marketing until this year. This year we are investing $50,000 in marketing. This is the first year that I've invested in anything that I can say. I mean, besides a few, maybe Facebook lead post or whatever, something similar, a boosted post or something like that. But of any real marketing, this is the first year that we've invested any amount, and we've invested about 50,000 in marketing this year, because I really just wanted to see what it looks like if we stop just working word of mouth, because that's how my business model is set up. Essentially, is word of mouth. We don't, my customer acquisition cost, it still is next to nothing. Not this year, and it's not next to nothing. I don't want to say that, but my customer acquisition cost reflects my business model, which is we don't really advertise. People come to us. We are a premier company. We've been nominated and named the best heating and cooling company 4 out of the last 5 years in Madison County, best electrician for the last 3 years, Reader's Choice, some different things. They just had a GOAT Awards. We just won all 3 trades in the GOAT Awards. So we really leverage ourselves as community rooted, and we let the community do our marketing. And I think that's one thing that people don't really utilize enough, is allowing the community that they serve, which there's a difference between servicing a community and serving a community. But they allow the community they serve to market for them. They'll get a lot further.
That's a great golden nugget. I think not enough people realize, like, yeah, you're in a local community, and if you do a great job, I think there's other things too, where if there are things in the community that need to be done, you could offer your services, effectively do work for the community for free or donate effectively. Those costs you can write off your business, right, as marketing costs, but you can build a really great growth loop just by doing that. You're a proof right here, living proof that's how you can build it.
It works out really well. And then not only that, then, like we've last year, and it was just in my Facebook memories, last year we actually sponsored a high school football game. And we donated the money we had a skydiver jump out of a plane and deliver the game ball on the field. We had fireworks. We had military vehicles there. We sponsored the whole night. It was a big deal. And it was actually the high school I graduated from too. So, like those are the types of things that you do. You leave your mark, you brand yourself, where you can't really go in our community. We're a small towns in the Metro East of St. Louis, but you can't get around here without knowing who we are, heard of us, and we just do as much as we can, as much as you can.
That's amazing. What would you rate yourself from like a tech savviness perspective? Like 0 to 10, 0 being like the in-laws who need you to come over to turn on the TV, and 10 being like computer whiz, you can go work for Microsoft.
I am not a very tech savvy person. I can do stuff. I grew up, I'm 43. So I grew up in the age of not having smartphones and all that stuff, and then having smartphones. I am not computer illiterate. Everything I do, we are a digital based company. Pretty much everything we do is. So I'm not that savvy when it comes to.
I'd say like a 5 or a 6.
Probably so.
Right in the middle, right down the line.
Yeah. I can't make a big spreadsheet. Don't expect me to make a big spreadsheet for you.
So 2019, you could feel the business is starting to accelerate. What was the problem you were looking to solve? Like, what was the pain you were feeling when you're like, I got to get something like House Call Pro? Like, what was it that finally drove you to go, okay, let's do this? What was the pain? What was the problem?
I wanted a couple different things. First off, I needed something to keep track of business better, right? I was missing appointments. I was writing everything down. I remember I was writing paper invoices. So I would save like these little books of these paper invoices. And I never had them custom made. So I had to stamp, and I'd stamp every invoice. And it's like, man, there has to be a better way. Like, there absolutely has to be a better way. But I also wanted to stand out for my competition. That was more important. I think I needed something to set myself apart. And, I was in some owners group, in 20, that's at COVID, right? It really put everybody at home, and
Right then.
yeah, and everybody was looking at all these different groups and doing whatever we could at home. And I came, I was in some owners groups, and I think, I, came, this is how I came across House Call Pro, right? I was trying, seek advice. I wanted to see, I'm always looking to see, I want to know what other people are doing that I want to do. Because how did you get there, first of all? And then can you tell me some tricks, or can you help me, or what does this look like? What is your story? Because I want to see what that looks like and how it maybe compares to mine and what lessons I can learn out of this. So, I think that's huge. And I still do that to this day. But, I was in those owners groups, and I remember, I don't know if I made a post, I don't know what it was, but I just, I get under this post and I start reading. I'm like, well, this looks like something that will fit me. And that's how I found House Call. I did that, and I did a demo, and then history.
That was it.
Yeah.
Here we are 6 years later.
Yeah.
fully ramped up.
And no reason to leave. Like, I'm completely happy too. And I'll add that too. Like, I'm not, there's been a few bumps in the road, but I think it works great for exactly what we need. And I see it working for the foreseeable future. I don't see us getting, we're growing, and we're going to keep growing, but I see that we're just going to grow with House Call Pro.
Yeah. And I think, as we continue to grow as a business, it's not like you buy the software and what you bought at 2019 is at all what you have now. Sure, you're using a bunch of core features for sure, but the amount of different tools that there are now is just a different amount. And as your business continues to grow, the tools continue to get better and better. It's subscription software for a reason. It's not you buy the CD once and then that's the CD you run for the rest of your life, right?
Well, sure.
How it used to be.
Yeah, and even whenever we ended up a few years ago, we absorbed a plumbing company. I always just use politically correct. We absorbed a plumbing company, and that's how we got into plumbing as well. But having House Call Pro already there, I was just able to open up the plumbing category in House Call Pro. So that wasn't, it was almost like it helped out with everything, even just being a 2-trade going to a 3-trade, that was a huge benefit having House Call Pro there. It was huge, because we use the flat rate books and stuff like that too. So the price books.
Yeah. And you can have the different price books, especially great for plumbing, clearly good for HVAC, but that's definitely a thing. And I know you're a huge user of our House Call Pro Assist. At what point what were you thinking before you implemented it in, and what about it was like, okay, yeah, this is great. I want to continue to use this. For people that are listening that are like, what the heck is Roland even talking about? How would you describe it?
Well, House Call Pro Assist is, exactly what it sounds like. And here's the thing is your phones need to be answered. Bottom line. If you don't answer your phone, the person that's calling is either going to be your customer and not going to be happy you didn't answer, because they're probably having an emergency situation. They need to talk to somebody right now. And let's put this into comparison, how all of the House Call Pro customers feel whenever ChatBlue doesn't respond to them right now. That's how our customers feel.
That's a good example.
Right? That's exactly how they feel. They want to talk right now, not later, now. But now here's the other flip to the coin. If it's not your customer, it's a new customer, most likely. And they don't have a provider. No one's taking care of them, right? So they're looking for one. You can either be their hero and potentially get a new customer, or B, you're not going to answer, and they're going to go to the next person on Google search that they've already searched. They're going to go right back to the next page and hit right next to the next person. If you have enough reviews, you're going to be in that
the map pack, the ranking
in the pack, and that's how it works. So if you don't answer those phones, those are lost revenue. That's a lost revenue potential right there. And even if it's a weekend, you either decide if you're going to have after hours or you don't. I know it's a big industry debate right now, and I know it's where it's either we stop doing it, we do it.
It always will be. Yeah.
It will be. We did both. A few years ago, I stopped altogether. I said no more after hours. We're going to stop this. We went back to it to now, if you're in a service club with us, we will service you after hours. If you call in, and if you call in and you're not in a plan with us, if you buy a plan with us, we'll come service. But we're not going to come unless you purchase the plan. And you got to purchase it in full. And then if you want to cancel after that year, I don't care. We'll come out and take care of you, but you got to be under a maintenance plan with us. And, those are always set up as set it and forget it, right? Like Netflix. Once you're enrolled, it just keeps going. You got to cancel it.
All right, so I love this because I feel like a lot of people listening and still a lot of companies aren't running membership programs or service agreements or service plans, whatever you want to call them. It's all the same, comfort clubs, whatever. So the concept is you will only deliver after hours or weekend stuff if they happen to be a part of your membership program. If they're not currently a part of your membership program, they can enroll in it and then you'll service them. And then otherwise, they don't get the chance to do that. So what else is contained within like the membership? What do they get? What do they pay? For people that are listening, like how did Joe construct this for Pruitt?
Yeah. So we have so we're a multi-trade. So we have what we call the Comfort Club Comfort Club level 1. That includes one maintenance visit a year. It's essentially a cleaning. We are not going to go in there and really do what we would normally do. But what I found is that there's customers out there that don't want to have a maintenance plan. They don't want to do all that. Well, with our systems in HVAC in particular, we offer a 12-year parts and 12-year labor warranty. I need out there at least once a year. I need that. So we've implemented is the level 1 Comfort Club, which is one visit a year, touch-up cleaning. I mean, you're going to get the basics. It is what it is. They know it. We tell them. There's no hidden bullets here. And then Comfort Club level 2, you're going to get the 2 maintenance visits a year. We're going to do everything that you're expected to. All the ACA standards. We're going to take care of all of that stuff that needs to be taken care of. So that's our HVAC plans. Then we have Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is our electrical maintenance plan. And some people, we're the only ones in this area that has it. And some people think it's silly. But what's silly is, or what's crazy is everyone that's under a Comfort Club plan or a Peace of Mind plan, we've sold them new electrical services because they needed it. And we've done multiple other things that needed done. And that's all just because they enrolled in the Peace of Mind Club. And we realized that their meter base was burnt up or that their breaker panel, the back panel was complete. We're not, we use Company Cam too, or House Call Pro Cam now. But we document all this stuff. We're like, here, this is what we found. And we show them. Or if they're there, we show them in person like this. So,
and then be like, do you want us to fix this or not?
Yes. Yes. And then we have the Waterworks. The Waterworks, of course, is the plumbing plan. And that is basically the maintenance plan for the plumbing. And then we have the Elite, which covers all 3. And we have a lot of the people that's on the Elite. And if you're on the Elite, you're going to have a technician at your house once every couple months. Once every 3 months, you're going to see a technician, whether it be an electrician, a plumber, or an HVAC tech. You're going to see someone at your house.
Oh, and you're rotating them. That's great. Yes. That's an awesome idea. And what do you charge for this? How does that work? Is it a yearly thing? Is it a yearly thing billed monthly? Like, tell me how you have that set up.
Yeah, so that's a great question too. I was just going over at the office a little bit about that this morning because I did some BDR training yesterday and I learned a whole lot. So I came back just full of energy and full of ideas like we're changing everything. We're going to throw everything out of the house, doing all kinds of. But so if you call in an emergency situation and we have to get you on a plan so we can come out and service you, you got to pay up front. You got to pay for that plan up front. Once generally, even if you're calling in normal business hours, we try to get that plan paid up front for that first year, at least 6 months. There is terms and conditions in our service plans saying, services rendered equal services paid. So it kind of protects us. But in the long run, once they're on the plan, if they want to go month to month, pay every 6 months, every year, we use House Call Pro through that, right? So we just allow those settings to kind of roll out. I find that most people want to go month to month, and that's okay with me. It's just recurring revenue. I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what are they paying? $10, $20, $30 a month? Like, how does that break down? What's the yearly cost?
Probably $30 a month if they're on the Elite. Probably $40 a month.
So you're not running this as like a revenue maker. You're running this as a like revenue neutral opportunity to get back in the house. If there's anything else wrong, you maintain that relationship with the customer.
Yep. I do want to eventually, I want maintenance to really start capturing a lot more than what, as far as what we possibly can, but I don't want it to just be a revenue source. It's important for me that, we are performing the maintenance and that, we are documenting all this stuff.
Yes.
Providing 12-year parts and 12-year labor warranties, which we actually do the work. And when we come for install, we give them what's called a swag bag. I should have had one built to show you, but it's a bag. I mean, the bag is even labeled with our logo on it and stuff. And it has all their warranty paperwork already filled out. Well, we're going to stand behind that. I need to get out there and maintenance it. It's not even about, having, I need the maintenance plan because I need to document it. Because when you call me in year 6, I need something to say, hey, we've been out here servicing this and this compressor went out, but here the compressor is dead and here's my service record.
Yep, totally. And you keep all those records inside of your House Call Pro account. You're using HTTP Cam now, but all of that's there on that unit. You can show them the full breakdown. If you have to talk to the OEM, supply house, wherever you happen to buy the stuff from, you can show what's been done, right? And if it's their fault, you can go get it replaced, right? Especially if they've got the physical warranty on it too. 12-year warranty is it's very generous. Because something's going to happen in those 12 years, especially with today's units and stuff that's there. So I see now why it's a critical piece of your business model.
Yes. We purchase our 12-year warranty. So our 12-year manufacturers comes from the manufacturer, of course, but our labor warranty comes through JB Warranties, which is great.
Got it.
If any of the pros aren't using JB Warranties, I couldn't, speak highly enough about them. They are tremendous. They have a financing kick on their thing too that you get to use. Their financing programs awesome too. I mean, we use WiseTech, of course, too. We have 3 different financing options. I mean, you got to be financing too. You got to be financing.
Totally. Yeah. If you're not offering financing, you're just leaving so much money on the table because you never know what homeowners can and can't afford. You can't expect them to have 15 grand just in checkings that they can just stroke a check in a heartbeat on an emergency repair. That's like a wild amount of money to just have sitting around. What else? What would you say is an underrated feature? What do you think something that maybe doesn't get talked about enough, or like our marketing team, always struggles to tell like all the features that aren't necessarily add-on features, but they're just a part of House Call Pro, but they do something super powerful. What would you say is the most underrated feature of House Call Pro?
I utilize so many of the features. I really do. I think that, one of the things that I'm sure everyone does too, is the new updated dash. I love the new updated dash when you can just look in there and see exactly. I love that. That's, really tremendous. I use Pipeline too. If you're not using Pipeline, and I know that was, good, really exciting when it came out, and I don't hear as much talk about it anymore, but I will tell you that Pipeline, I see the jobs that we get from it. And if you're not following up, we don't have sales either. I have no sales department here. We do consultations. We don't do sales. And I literally have no salesperson either, just to clarify when I say that. I have no salesperson.
No comfort advisors, no sales, no whatever.
No.
It's your tech. It's your tech that's out there that's presenting the options and doing the consultation.
They will. When it comes to someone that wants a consultation, I will do the consultation most of the time, which I still love to do it. I love to do it. But we actually do menu selling too. So all of my technicians, I don't know if I have one here. I think I probably do. We actually have prices, and it's pretty much everything that we have to offer. And they can show that to our customer, and it's like a menu. It's like, okay, what AC is over here, furnace is up here. I want that furnace. I want that AC. Okay, you meet in the middle. That's your price. It includes all materials and labor. Out the door price. Is there any add-ons? What does it look like? Here's your deal. And that's what it is. We are a straightforward, no nonsense. I have done all the sales trainings. And I have a pretty good close rate. I say at 52% or something, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah. That means and people are like, well, isn't 80% better than 50%? No, the problem is like, if you have 100% close rate, you're giving something away for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's going to say yes. So you want to sit kind of right there in the middle, maybe even a little bit less if you can, because that means you're just pricing very profitable jobs, that help the homeowner. So I think, that's amazing. And that's cool that you're still doing that too.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
And then menu pricing too is a great customer friendly tool. It's a little golden nugget that just slipped right by. But essentially, if you make it easy for a homeowner to kind of pick like this, and this add-on, then they don't think you're making up prices on the fly because you happen to pull in and they had a Mercedes-Benz sitting in the driveway.
Yes.
It's just like, here it is. It's already printed out. So you just pick whatever you want. This is what I do.
They know that
it's an underrated.
Yeah. They know that Tom across the street or Janice down the street or whoever is going to say, hey, this is our price book here. This is what we pay. And I don't know, if you wait a year, it might go up and you might look at a different book, but this is our book. And it works out tremendously at building trust. And like you said, they know it's the price. One feature underused, I think probably too, is the price book in Housecall Pro. I don't know if everyone's using it, but I love the price book. And that's the best way for your technicians, if they get pushback, it's in the price. I don't make this price. Even they could be like, I think it's expensive too. But who cares? It's the price book. You know, you can leverage that and say, I'm sorry, this is so expensive, but and we don't want to just act like but the price book is too. And to that, the price book is what really was allowed me to get out of the field. One of the things that was allowed me to, because otherwise you got technicians always calling you, well, how much is the price for this? Or you have to go do it yourself because you don't know what you want to charge, right? You're like, well, if I don't go there, I don't know what to charge these people. I don't know what they're, and I don't know how to convey that to a technician. So if you don't have your price built and your structure built, that's one of the first things you got to do. And if you think you're overpriced, you're probably not.
No, I think that's probably one of the easiest fixes or the easiest piece of advice I can give everyone is like, you could double your prices tomorrow and you'd lose some customers, but you wouldn't lose half. So what does that mean? It means just running more profitable business. I think it's important too. And people are like, I like the size of my business. I like where I'm at now. How am I going to grow? I want to keep it the same size. Better pricing. Have that. And also, like you said too, another gold nugget, make it easy for guys out in the field to price. So they don't have to like call in and go, hey, Joe, what should I price them or whatever. It's just like, if they have access to that at their fingertips, they're always going to price it right. They don't have to think about like, is this a profitable job? Is it not a profitable job? How much material is it not? So if you invest in your price book, you build it in a way that anybody can click the buttons and it'll work. And you're going to be happy about the job you get to do because it's going to be profitable no matter what because you built it in your pricing.
Yep. And flat rate. Flat rate is huge.
Flat rate, totally.
And I know that we're still having this conversation because I mentioned I just did some BDR training yesterday, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And there was about 20 of us in the room and half of us were still not using flat rate. And half of us were still arguing about the fact that you can't use flat rate and the reasons why flat rate doesn't work. And, it's so exhausting. It gets exhausting, but it's like, listen, it does work and it can work if you do it right, it can work better for you.
It's just the thing that we're like, not all jobs are going to be the most profitable jobs and not all jobs are going to be, perfectly timed, and priced, but 95% of the jobs are going to fall in this thing where you're going to be dialed in right down the profit lever. And the one or two or whatever it is, the horror stories you get because the crawl space was covered in black widows or whatever it was, right? Something your guy didn't want to do and it took a long time to do. That is the price you pay for having all the other ones say yes so easily. And so, if you haven't investigated it, if you don't know about it, you can always, look it up, call Joe and say like, hey, how do you set it up? You've got the vehicle tracking set up.
Yes.
In your trucks, in your service vehicles. Talk to me about that. What was like the problem you were having and what were you looking to solve with that? Was it you wanted to make sure the trucks weren't going places they weren't supposed to be going, or like walk me through how you think about that and how you justify that cost?
Yeah. So we've been through the mix of, I've had my vans broken into at technicians' houses and had all the stuff. So I've been through all of that stuff. And, I generally trusted all of my technicians and I still do. It's not a matter of trust. But it's just a matter of wanting to know where the company's stuff is and
assets. Yeah.
What's going on with it. And then when we absorbed a plumbing company, the owner of that company actually is the plumbing manager for me now. He works here and he's great. He's of the more retiring age, but he's great. He was about wanting these vans tracked. And I just gave in to him like, okay, that's great. Let's do that. Let's just track them. But I love it.
Yeah. Totally.
We see, we were able to track in maintenance. I keep getting notification about one of the vans is over maintenance, but I know that it's not. So we got to update that, And so I really love the tracking. If it's 2:00 in the morning or 3:00 in the morning and a van door gets opened, you're getting notified. There's value in that.
There's expensive tools in there. There's a lot of money in tools in there, whether you keep it in the back, in the box truck, whatever it is. But having those notifications could save you having a truck down for days, weeks, whatever it is, and that's going to cost you a heck of a lot more than even the replacement of the tools.
It does, and it also gives you notifications for like if there's an engine problem or if there's a diagnostic code, right? It's going to send you those notifications. So that's going to allow you to take care of your fleet a little bit better because we all know that technician is not telling you that check engine light came on until the van stuck down on the side of the road, and he's going to act like it wasn't ever on the whole time. He's like, well, I don't know, it just came on.
It just happened. It just happened. Totally.
as the truck's on fire.
Um, yeah, and you're like, well, there goes that truck. There goes my insurance. Where does Joe stay up to date on things? You mentioned BDR a little bit. Are there other places that you're either reading, seeing, watching, listening to, getting recommendations from? How are you staying up to date with things?
I'm a big reader. I read so many different books, and they're your basic books that you would expect us to read, right? And I really don't have any favorites. Whenever I'm in a few different groups of like high motivated people, and I see kind of the books. Like if I see like this is a good book, if I'll kind of look into it, and I'll buy it on Amazon, and then at some point I'll get into it. And like over the summer, I have a pool book that I'll read. I sit at the pool, and I've got a book that I'll read as I'm going to sleep. And I think that there's tons of knowledge out there that people's already been where we're at, and they, for the most part, can tell you if you look for it. So I think that that's probably my biggest source. I have mentors too, though. I think that that's important too, to find someone that maybe knows a little bit more than you. I mentioned this.
How do you find a mentor? Like, Joe, do you just go up to someone and say, like, will you be my mentor? Like, is that how that works? How does that work for people that are like, I don't know, that seems awkward to me, but like, how do you ask?
I don't think you really ask, right? I think that
Yeah.
it's just somebody that you go to a lot, and at some point it just kind of happens, right? Like I have a particular supplier, vendor of mine, a vendor that I use, and this guy has became a mentor to me, and I don't even know how it happened. He's been in the industry for about 30 years. I didn't sell his brand for a while, and he was still coming by here, and I gave him the cold shoulder a few different times whenever I felt like he was just being a salesman trying to sell us stuff. But now, he's become a confidant and a friend. I go to him for advice. I think it just happens. Even the plumbing manager that I have here with me, he ran his business for since the 70s. He's got a lot of knowledge, right? Like he has a lot of knowledge for me to fall back on and say, hey, well, what do we, or hey, can you go put this fire out? Like I know you had to have dealt with something, like go deal with this for me. And he's great too. So, you got to find those people.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, and like Jess said, you don't have to be super direct about it. Just be someone that you slowly build a relationship with that you can go to when you have problems, and just be like, "Hey, you ever face this? How'd you give me any advice?" People love giving advice. Oh, it kind of sounds like this podcast.
Because like you don't want to like go up to someone you meet on the street, and be like, "Hey, will you be my friend?" Like that's weird. Like,
Yes.
no, I'm not gonna be your friend, weirdo. Like you're weird. You could have just approached me a little differently. So just become friends with somebody, somebody that you've decided, hey, this person might have some knowledge that I need, or maybe this person could be beneficial to my life, right? And then when you decide that, then that's whenever you make your moves to try to build that relationship.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of advice, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago? So, what would you tell young Joe, young 32-year-old or 33-year-old Joe? What would you tell him?
I would not say don't do this. I would not. I know that's probably what a lot of people say. Don't go in a different road. I think that it would be more along with have better processes in place. I think that is the biggest thing. And I could probably scale a lot more than what I am, but I don't really. I don't want to go crazy. I'd like to grow this more manageable, to where it's something that'll last for generations. I'm going to pass this on to my son. I mean, this was my son's 16. I mentioned that to you. This was last summer was his first summer working for the company. And he was out in the field with the techs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, every day he was out in the field with the technicians. He installed his first air conditioner this summer. And he's
Cool.
super.
He must have been so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the proudest thing, right? I want this to be able to pass it on to him. So this is a generational company. I just happen to be the first person in that generation to start it, and I want it to go on a lot longer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Joe, thank you so much for jumping on the Superpro podcast. You dropped so many good golden nuggets and such a wealth of knowledge. It's been a really fun conversation. For those that happen to be listening that are like, oh, I want to do what Joe did, and I might be a tech savviness of 5, and if Joe can build an amazing company on House Call Pro, I can too. You can always go to housecallpro.com/podcast deal. If you go there, there's a deal on there. You can go there, or you can always text me too. People will say, yeah, you can DM Roland, or you can text them. My text is 858-215-1512. You can always reach out to me too. I can get you connected with anyone. If you want Joe to be your mentor, don't ask him to be your mentor and don't say, "Can I be your friend?" Don't be weird like that. But I'm sure Joe would be happy to talk to you too.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks so much. That was awesome. We'll see you all next week for another edition. Take care, all.
Yeah.
The Superpro podcast is brought to you by Housecall Pro, the leading platform for the home service industry. Housecall Pro streamlines your workflows and simplifies everything from scheduling and dispatching to communication and billing. Unlock the full potential of your home service business with Housecall Pro. Work smarter and more efficiently with streamlined workflows and detailed analytics. Win more business and serve your customers well, every single time. Join more than 40,000 home service pros who have already revolutionized their businesses. Work smarter with streamlined workflows, get organized with centralized information, and scale your business your way. Learn more at housecallpro.com.